Just snap it. Yeah, I took a photo and then circled the
That's a baby one, yeah. Small. Yeah, that's a lot.
Thanks so much for coming. Oh, and I broke my mask. Caleb, can I have another mask, please?
Yep.
Hi everybody, I'm Emily. Thank you. I'm the playwright and I'm also the director of Plunge. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to see the show, supporting a small local theater collective. What we do wouldn't be possible without all of you here. Before we start, I just want to give a few content warnings. Please be advised that Plunge contains instances of homophobia, misogyny, medical malpractice, strong language, and other mature content. Now, just to give a bit of context, tonight's presentation of Plunge exists somewhere between a workshop and a full-scale production. For those of you who may not know what a workshop is in theater, it means that while you're seeing the heart of the show, some elements may be scaled back or slightly different than a full-blown production. That being said, I like to shoot for the moon, and Plunge is definitely a reflection of that. This is a chance for us to experiment, to refine, and to learn more about the play and how it resonates. It is a thrilling and vulnerable place for us, and we're so grateful you're here to witness it. Following this performance, there will be a talk back, giving you a chance to ask about elements of the show and the process that got us here. I also want to say that Silence is a very small venue. They can see you, which isn't normal for theater. Give them whatever you're feeling in the moment. It's really helpful as an actor to see the audience responding, if you're so moved to it. I would also love to take the time to acknowledge that the land that we're currently seated on is the ancestral lands of the Adawanaram, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples, and the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is covered under the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, an agreement to share and care for the land, water, and resources in a spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. A land acknowledgement is an important step in our collective responsibility to this place, its people, and its history. But it's only a small part in a sea of other actionable steps that we can take towards reconciliation and decolonization. We acknowledge that being here, telling our stories, is a result of hundreds of years of oppression and colonization. When we talk about colonization, we not only refer to historical events in some faraway past, but also in the here and now. Colonization exists all around us today, here in so-called Canada and around the world. Even if you don't see it yourself, Indigenous communities and individuals are still subject to its impacts. When you leave here today, I invite you all to think about how you can take actionable steps towards reconciliation. Here are a few. Directly supporting local Indigenous organizations and businesses, listening to and learning from Indigenous voices, whether by engaging with local knowledge keepers, attending events or reading literature by Indigenous authors, engaging in land-based learning, acknowledging and educating ourselves on the true history of this land, including the impact of colonialism and the importance of Indigenous land rights and sovereignty. We also encourage you to get involved in community initiatives. In a world that can often feel uncertain and turbulent, community support and collective action are more vital than ever. Whether through volunteering, supporting local organizations, or simply offering a helping hand to neighbors, we all have a role to play in building a more connected and resilient community. In this spirit, we are very proud to share that a portion of the proceeds from tonight's show will be donated to your Downtown Guelph Friends, a volunteer-driven, youth-led food initiative focused on supporting our community members in need. We make this donation in memory of their founder, Kate Nixon. Once again, thank you so much for supporting us and in turn, your Downtown Guelph Friends. And we hope you enjoy the show.
Standing by the water in my nightgown, and I can't find my shoes. I can almost hear his voice. Somewhere distant, he calls out to me, but I can't quite make out his words. If I listen, I can hear him.
Mo, you're gonna catch a cold out there dressed like that.
That or something else, like
Cutting your feet up on the rocks out there will do us no good. Come back inside.
I know he's right, but I'm not cold. And when I look down at my feet, they aren't bleeding. Someone is singing across the water. I go to reach for her, but water is warm. That's how I can tell I'm dreaming. It's warm and I feel safe. Safer than I have in months. No regrets, no hesitations, no worries. I'm set adrift. I grew up in a small town in Alberta, St. Albert's, Alberta. Close enough to Edmonton to see family, but far away enough that my parents considered it rural living. It was the suburbs. Alberta is one of only 2 landlocked provinces in Canada. Saskatchewan is the second. Believe it or not, I didn't see the water until I was 24. My father did a great job of supplementing my imagination until then. He was a pilot in the war, World War II. We were taught not to ask about it, not to pry, that if he wanted to talk about it, he would. He didn't. Every so often, if we were lucky, he would tell us stories about the sea. It was my favorite bedtime story. Obviously, I'd been in water before. We had neighbors with a pool in their backyard. I remember staying out there until it got dark and cold and my mother had to call Mrs. Taylor to send me home all wrinkled and shivering. But the way my father spoke of the water, his stories were a type of magic.
It went on forever, Maul. Think about what forever looks like, and times that by 10. It stretched out so far that sometimes I had a hard time telling where the ocean ended and the sky began. It was big and blue and all-encompassing.
It scared me.
You could tell when a storm was approaching. You could see it from miles when you're up that high. Coming towards us, waves roiling below, the clear blue sea clouding up and turning gray.
I was captivated.
It was so amazing how something so peaceful, so beautiful could turn so angry. No, not angry, powerful. Its own sort of beauty.
I never felt closer to my father than I did when he talked about the sea. I remember we went to a lake once with my family friends who had a cottage up north. I remember sitting in the sand, warm from the summer sun, but itchy on the underside of my thighs. It was nothing like he had described. I felt like I had been lied to. Yes, this was a lake and my father had flown over the Atlantic Ocean, but you try telling a 12-year-old who grew up in the middle of Alberta that. I thought we were going to the sea. I hated it. The ocean, and not in the curious way that I had before when I was a child. This fear felt like a betrayal. If only my father could see me now. Those months Ernest and I spent on Cape Breton changed everything. Ernest would always tell me to stay away from the water. He'd go on about riptides and how unlucky you'd be if you were to find yourself in one.
It's dangerous, wild. You're better off not getting too close. Stay right here inside and you can see the water from the safety of our home.
But
The ocean isn't like a lake, Mom. It could take you away. It may look calm now, but you don't know how quickly the tides can change. You'll be here one moment.
and gone the next.
So, how are we feeling today, Mrs. Evans?
Please call me Molly.
How are we feeling today, Molly?
I'm feeling fine, thank you.
Are you sure? The nurses told me that you were quite worked up last night.
There was a storm. I couldn't sleep.
Right. I'm sensing a little hesitancy from you today. Are you sure that you're all right?
I'm fine.
You aren't being completely honest with me, are you?
I want to go home. But since that isn't an option, then all I can do is fine.
I think if we're going to get anywhere with treatment, we need to delve into some more serious topics.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think that talking about the weather every day is helping me treat you.
I'm not sure.
Molly.
Small talk is easy for me. It helps me feel like I'm being talked to like a human being instead of a patient.
But you are a patient.
I know that.
Do you? We've talked almost every day for a week now, and it feels like we haven't gotten almost anywhere. We talk about the weather, about the books you've read in the hospital library, but it just feels like you're biding time until your release.
I'm having a hard time understanding how you can help me.
Well, why don't we just give my way a go, and then we can at least say we tried, right?
Right. I guess.
Can I ask you a couple questions about Ernest?
I'd rather not talk about Ernest with you.
I find that young women are jumping at the chance to brag at the men in their lives. It's all I hear about when I walk by the nurse's station, and Miss Lucas shows me a photo of a different man she's seeing each week.
These are very different circumstances.
Yes. You have been married for 3 years.
Exactly.
Are you unhappy in your marriage?
No.
Well then, indulge me. Brag about that wonderful husband of yours.
What do you want to know?
Anything you want to tell me. What his favorite color is. What he likes to do for work. What his favorite food is. Just paint me a picture.
Ernest is very kind.
Very kind. Anything else?
good husband.
Let's dig a little bit deeper than that.
Okay. Ernest is a simple man.
Simple.
Not simple bad. Simple as in he doesn't need any more than he has. He wants a certain type of life, and now that he has that, well, that's it.
And what type of life is that?
A reliable job, comfortable home, loving family.
And you are? A loving family, a loving wife?
I try to be. I care for Ernest and he cares for me. That's never been in doubt.
So you love him?
I love you.
What?
I love you.
Where did you come from?
Just in from outside. I was trying to get that extra generator back up. It keeps bothering me.
Did you get it fixed?
No, I'm missing a part. I'll probably have to go into town to grab a replacement. How was your day, darling?
Great. I finished unpacking. Only took me, 3 months?
That's great, Mom. I've got some work to do on the light, but I'll be back in a bit. Why don't you grab that bottle of wine your mom got us from the cellar and we can celebrate?
I'll go get dinner started.
Molly?
Hmm?
Are you feeling alright?
Yes. Why?
You just drifted there for a bit.
Oh. Sorry.
You were saying about Ernest.
We were happy.
Are you sure you're feeling alright, Mrs. Evans?
I'm alright.
You're just looking kind of pale.
This heat wave is crazy, eh? Why don't we get some windows open and get some sea breeze going through here?
I can't stand the smell.
The smell?
Can't you smell it? It's like dead fish and brine. It's giving me a headache.
Why don't you go lie down while you're looking a little pale?
Mrs. Evans, did you want to rest? We can pick back up tomorrow if you'd rather.
I think so.
Alright, get some rest. Let's see you tomorrow.
Good night, Doctor.
Any better?
I think so.
Why don't we go see a doctor?
No, we'd have to drive out of town to see a doctor. It's not worth the trip.
I think it'd be worth it, just to rule out anything serious.
It's not anything serious. I promise. It's just a headache and a little bit of fatigue.
Well, you've had a headache every day this week. I'm just worried.
I'm just getting used to the change of scenery is all. We just need to settle.
It's been 3 months. Perhaps if you're not settled yet, then this just isn't the right place for us. If you're sick,
I'm feeling much better. I promise.
Mom,
Trust me. I'm thinking stew for dinner.
sounds great. You really know the way to a man's heart.
Perhaps you should have listened to Ernest's opinion sooner.
I didn't think going to the doctor would have helped me.
Most men that I know wouldn't have trusted your opinion over their better judgment like that.
Well, Ernest isn't like most men. He understood that I had a lot on my plate.
And what was it that you had on your plate?
Moved to the lighthouse that March. It was a big change for me. I was used to the suburbs. A small backyard and neighbors so close you could reach out and touch them. This was different.
And Ernest responded to this change far better than you did?
He thrived.
Mom, I just saw a pod of whales off the coast. Come look.
I'm just a little busy.
I've never seen whales before. They're huge.
How exciting.
And why do you think that Ernest responded to this change far better than you did? Why do you think it had such an effect on you?
I've never been so far away from home. From my family. From what I had been used to for the past 24 years.
But you had your husband with you. Didn't that remove some of the unfamiliarity?
I felt alone.
Alone? You weren't alone.
I know that.
Mrs. Evans.
Please call me Molly.
Sorry, Molly. Let's change the subject up a little bit. Could you tell me about your family?
My father died when I was 12. It was just the three of us after that. My mom, my sister, and I. When Ernest and I first got married, we just lived blocks away from the home I grew up in. It was nice knowing that someone was there if we needed support. If I needed support. I was just used to living in the same place with the same people. Naturally, picking up and moving across the country was a big change.
So you were unhappy with Ernest's job change?
I was very happy for him.
But you didn't enjoy the move to Nova Scotia?
I never said that. It's just a big change. Why is it so hard for everyone to understand that it's taking some time to get used to? We're out in the middle of nowhere. The closest neighbors are miles away. And it's so wet here. I feel like I've seen the sun once in the last week. Mom, I gotta go. I'll call you next week. Give Addie a kiss for me. Love you. Hello, darling.
Your mother?
Yes, she says hello.
How is she?
Great. Says they've had new neighbors. Says they've been quite rowdy, but must be nice to have some fresh faces around. Keeps things interesting, don't you think?
Are you unhappy here, Molly?
What?
Are you unhappy?
Ernest, what is this about?
It feels different here.
It is different here.
You feel different.
I told you, I'm settling. We're settling.
Molly, we can talk about it. If something is bothering you, I don't want you to be unhappy.
I'm not unhappy here. I'm not unhappy, period.
I was just thinking that if living here is too much for you, then we can go back home. Just say the word and I will give it all up. My position, I know I would. I can find something else.
Ernest, I can't ask you to do that.
I'm not asking. I'm offering.
You love it here.
I love you more.
I'll be fine. I promise. I will learn to love it.
Okay.
Did you resent him for that?
For making us move to Nova Scotia?
About putting the choice to leave on you?
He was trying to protect me.
And you resent him for that?
Of course not.
He loves you.
He does.
And do you love him?
Molly?
I'm fine. I swear, like I said, I think the sea air is just getting to me.
They say that sea air is supposed to be restorative.
Sea air will be good for you, Mol.
I guess it's just in my head then. I'll be alright.
Why don't we go for a walk later? If you're feeling up to it, you can wander down to the water and see if anything interesting is washed up on the shore. We found starfish last week.
I'll think about it.
He's very forgiving of your mood swings.
As I said, Ernest is very kind.
Kind and forgiving are two different things.
He had his limits.
And what were those?
I think I'd like to go back to my room now, Doctor.
Are you sure? We're just starting to get somewhere.
I am sure.
As you wish, Mrs. Molly. Should I get the nurses to help you on your way?
Oh, no, don't trouble anyone. I can get there on my own.
All right. Good night.
I keep dreaming of you. I need to get out of here. I need you to help me get out of here. The air here is so stale. going to suffocate if I stay in here any longer. If I close my eyes and think, I can still smell it. The sea air. And the fish, of course. Didn't think I'd miss it this much. If I really try, I can hear the water too, lapping against the shoreline. I can feel the cold on my skin as it seeps into my bones. The type of cold that shocks the system in a good way. If I could solve all my problems by jumping in the sea, then I would. Let it carry me away from here. But that's not how this works, is it? I am stuck here. No coast in sight. I keep trying to stay afloat. The waves, they're too big, too strong. I keep going under. But every time I feel like I can't hold my breath anymore, you pull me up for air. Mira, please.
Sevens? Molly. I asked how your night was.
Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't sleep very well last night.
Bad dreams?
The dreams were fine.
There's a big storm. Seems to have swept right off the coast. Could that have been some of the cause of your restlessness?
I don't believe so.
Your husband mentioned to me that you had some big emotions towards the sea, that feelings, I believe was the words he used, that when you arrived in Nova Scotia, you were almost afraid of it?
Ernest always said to stay away from the water. I was simply being wary.
Being wary and being afraid are two different things. What caused this phobia of the ocean, Molly?
It's not a phobia of the ocean.
Okay. This wariness, then. Where do you think it stems from?
Ernest said it was dangerous. Something minding his wishes.
But that didn't last long, did it?
I got over my wariness.
And how'd you do that?
Just did.
Miss Evans, I don't appreciate you being short with me. I would like to have a civilized conversation, if possible.
I'm not trying to be short with you. It's just this past year has been overwhelming. A lot has happened.
Can you tell me about Mira?
I'd rather not talk about Mira with you.
Why not?
Mira was a friend. The first friend I ever had when we moved to Cape Breton.
And the only friend. Is that correct?
Yes. I met her 4 months in.
Where did she come from?
She was always by the water.
And did you ever see where she would leave, where she'd head off to?
No. No, it was almost as if she washed in on the shore, folded with the tide. I'm aware of how ridiculous that may sound.
So instead of heading home, she'd, what, just swim off to sea? Sorry. She was a friend, you said.
Yes. I'd see her from the window sometimes, just standing there, staring out across the water. Typically we have tourists come picnic out by the lighthouse, so it wasn't unusual to see people out there, but she was always out there coldest of nights. I was getting quite good at noticing how the water would change when a storm would come. I was worried she was gonna get stuck out there. Ernest was always very clear on how dangerous the ocean could be in a storm. Hello? Miss, are you okay? You should really be careful this close to the water. It's not looking good out there.
Beautiful, isn't it?
What is?
The sea.
You could say so.
Sitting here, it's also infinite. So calm, so peaceful, it's almost meditative. But there's also such a power to it. I love knowing that no matter how much money or how many men humans throw towards its conquest, there will always be parts of the ocean that remain undiscovered. The mysteries of the sea are not for us to understand, at least. Not in full, but to revel in. Just look at the water out there glinting off the waves. I mean, it's stunning.
It reminded me of my father.
Where?
The way she spoke of the sea reminded me of my father. That's a very poetic way to speak about a bunch of weeds and water.
Have you been in?
The water? No, I'd much rather watch from here. It's safer that way.
Can I show you?
I'm not sure.
Just a few steps. Just to your toes. How will you know you don't like it if you don't try? Your shoes.
And how often did you see Miss Mira?
She'd come around once a week, sometimes more.
And she taught you how to swim?
No, I knew how to swim. I learned as a child. She just wanted me to not be so scared. Of the ocean. I saw a group of tourists out in the water during our first spring. I was fascinated by them. What a risk it was to wade into the sea like that. The way Ernest talked about it, it was basically a death sentence. But more than that, I couldn't understand how they just walked in. No hesitation. It must have been cold. Of course it was cold. It was the sea. I remember trying to get into the neighbor's pool as a kid. It would take so long just to work up the nerve to dip our toes in that eventually my dad would just push us in. It was easier that way. Immersing yourself all in one go. You have to walk in, really feel it on your skin and in your bones. It's much harder that way. Once you're in, you stop noticing the cold. You think, this isn't so bad. But it's much easier to back out when you haven't even gotten past your knees. Thank you for showing me the water. It looks like there's a storm coming, so like I said, I should probably be leaving now. Goodbye.
Did you see her again?
Of course I did. I told you she was my friend.
Just clarifying. And, how did things progress from there?
I'm sure you know the answer to that question already.
Tell me about it.
inside for a bit? It's quite cold out. I put on a pot of tea and some scones too. They have raisins in them. Do you like raisins? It's quite cold out, so I was wondering if you wanted to come warm up for a little bit.
I'm not a fan of raisins.
Oh, well, okay, I'm sorry to bother you, but
I would love to come inside.
sorry?
Let's come. Still have me? Inside?
No, yes, I did. I do. Follow me.
You have a beautiful home.
Thank you. I realize I never asked for your name.
It's a powerful thing to ask for. Name?
It is. It seems quite common to ask a new friend for their name.
A new friend.
I'm sorry. We just met, and here I am already calling you my friend.
You can call me a friend. Like to. Mira.
Hmm?
My name is Mira.
Mira. That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. And yours?
Molly. Molly Evans.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Molly Evans.
You can just call me Molly.
Well,
So you're very proud of your home? I don't know if proud is the word I'd use. It's growing on me. We just moved here quite recently.
oh, I know. Before you, there was this horrid old man who'd stand on the doorstep shouting at me, offering to bring me in from the cold.
Isn't that what I just did? Bring you in from the cold?
Sort of. Much more pleasant than he was. My husband seems happy here.
He is.
He likes living here. By the water?
I believe so.
Stands out there too. Much kinder though than the other.
How do you know my husband?
Was I mistaken? I mean, was that your husband? A brother, perhaps.
Oh no, he is.
A brother.
My husband.
Seems content. And are you?
I believe so.
You like living here? By the water?
I believe so.
You're happy here.
Yes. I'm not unhappy, but
You're not happy?
that makes my life sound so bleak. I promise it really isn't that bad.
I believe you. There's a yearning inside of you for something. See it.
And what would I yearn for?
That is up for you to decide.
You're quite cryptic.
Dance with me?
Pardon?
Would you dance with me?
We shouldn't.
Why not?
We just met.
People dance with strangers all the time, and I thought we were newfound friends.
And how does your husband feel about your new friendship?
Molly,
Ernest!
who's this, Mol?
This is Mira.
Pleasure to meet you, Ernest.
You as well.
Heard great things from your wife.
I think he liked her.
It's getting late. I should see myself out.
Yes. Did you need someone to walk you home?
Should be fine on my own. Thanks.
Good night, Mrs.
Mira. Just call me Mira.
So, any friends?
Yes. Isn't Isn't she lovely?
Well, I only just met her.
She seems very interesting.
Interesting. How?
Just not like any of the other girls back home. She's much more sure of herself.
Look, Mal, I'm glad that you're making friends, but please be careful bringing strangers into the house.
I'm so sorry, Ernest.
No, it's okay. You're just so trusting. I wouldn't want anyone to take advantage of you.
It went great.
Sounds like it.
Are we done for the day? I'd like to go back to my room now.
Oh, if you're sure.
I am sure.
Shall I walk you to your room?
I can get there on my own. Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Evans. I see that you're getting your rest.
I was.
Mrs. Evans, I wanted to ask, is there anything in particular you wanted to talk about in our sessions today?
You're asking me what I want to talk about?
I think it's important to let the patient have some autonomy in their own care. My colleagues may not agree, but I believe it helps open them up to suggestions.
How revolutionary of you.
Thank you. So, anything on your mind?
Nothing.
Miss Evans, don't make me regret my flexibility.
I find it easier when you guide me. I'm not sure what you need to know about me.
Well, let's see. We talked about your move, how it negatively affected your relationship with your husband. Why don't you tell me something good? A fond memory, if you can find one.
Memory?
Good morning.
Good morning.
What have you got there?
A book.
I can see that. What's the book about?
It's about the sea. I found it while unpacking. The previous owners must have left it behind.
I didn't know you'd be so interested in the reproductive cycle of Atlantic lobsters.
Well, might as well get acquainted with the sea if we're to be neighbors for the foreseeable future. Ernest, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
It's about Mira. I know you don't really like her very much.
I never said I don't like her. I just warned you about bringing strangers into the house.
I was wondering if we could have her over for dinner.
I'm not so sure that's a good idea.
If we get to know her, then she won't be a stranger anymore. Plus, she might be grateful to have some new friends. She's always out there by herself.
Don't you think it's strange that she's out there alone all the time?
Maybe, but perhaps she has a good reason. We won't know unless we get to know her.
Any other man would have put his foot down about what he believed was right.
Like I said, Ernest was better than most. Please.
Okay, but just one dinner.
Thank you.
I can feel you lingering.
I'm sorry. I can leave if you want to be alone.
No need to apologize. I'm glad you came.
Really?
Really?
wanted to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I was thinking last night before bed that it might be nice to have you over for dinner. I don't know if you have many friends around here, so I thought it would be nice for you to get to know Ernest and I.
You and Ernest.
Yes. I know that last time you had to leave suddenly, so I wanted to make it up to you. Invite you over for dinner. If you're free. And if you're not free, I completely understand. It's silly of me to think that you have friends, or you don't have friends, or that you don't already have something planned for tonight.
I would love to.
You would?
I would.
That's great. That's wonderful. We eat around 5 usually if you want to swing by then. I should head in if I want to get dinner started in time.
Could I join you?
Now? Oh, it won't be interesting. I'll just be making dinner.
I find that interesting.
You do?
I do.
Well, we better head in if we're to get dinner on the table in time.
Lead the way.
This is the house. But you know that. You've been here before. The kitchen's right this way.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house.
Why is that?
Because it's mine. Ernest barely steps foot in here. Don't get me wrong, he offers to help most nights, but it's one of the only places that's not ours, but mine. It's one of the only rooms that feels the most like home here. Am I even making any sense?
You are making perfect sense.
Is that how you feel about the water? You're down there so much, the way you talk about it, it seems like a home.
Sort of. The ocean belongs to all of us. Those of us who are brave enough to venture close to it. But still, despite the millions of people that stand at its shores, it does feel like it belongs to me. Take for example my hand. This hand is attached to my arm, which is attached to my shoulder, which is attached to the rest of my body. I can move it, clench my fist, wave it around. You wouldn't argue that it doesn't belong to me, that it isn't mine, right?
Right?
But if I reach over and touch your face like this, then for this moment, the hand is also yours. It will not stay with you forever, but for this one fleeting moment, it's a part of your story, a part of your experience, a part of you. In the same way the ocean's mine, it's also yours. And if you let it, it can reach out and hold you too.
That's a very wonderful analogy. I should get started on the stew, give it time to simmer.
Could I help you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm used to making dinner on my own.
I know you are more than capable of doing it on your own, and asking because I want to help.
Okay. Well, if you want, you can start peeling some potatoes. But only if you want.
Did you have any friends back home?
A few, I guess. Or I did. I was a shy child, so making friends was challenging. Ernest was a childhood friend. We met when we were young. My mother didn't want me to play with him, said that boys were too rough. But when my father died, she stopped trying to separate us from each other. She knew that I needed a friend. Ernest was a great friend. When we were in high school, he asked me to the school dance, and I said yes, as friends, of course. He around telling all of our friends that we were going steady. I didn't find out till I got wind of it that my sister told my mother that I had a boyfriend.
So that was when you fell in love with Ernest. In school.
Ernest was a great friend. We've always cared for each other. That's never been in doubt. Marriage was a natural next step.
You didn't answer my question.
Sure I did.
Hello, love. Yeah, nice to see you again.
A pleasure.
Stew smells delicious.
Thank you. Mira helped.
Well, isn't that great?
I just watched.
And this is a happy memory for you? It seems as though things are quite tense between Ernest and Mira.
You'll see.
I just don't quite understand how this...
Just let me finish. Please.
So, Mira, I've seen you down by the shoreline a lot.
I like to watch the water move.
And why this particular spot? I mean, there's miles of shoreline.
This one has the best view.
Do you live around here?
Ernest.
It's just a question. You said you wanted me to get to know her.
Not by interrogating her.
I've always lived close to the water.
See? She's just a neighbor. There's nothing to be worried about.
Oh, am I causing worry?
No,
Did you grow up around here?
Ernest.
As I said, I've always lived close to the water.
That's so nice. So idyllic out here, living out here your whole life. Sounds wonderful.
Molly, you hate the ocean.
I never said I hated it, just that it would take me some time to get used to.
And have you? Gotten used to it?
Yes,
It was giving you headaches.
the burden of moving across the country was giving me a headache.
Food looks great.
Thanks.
You did a great job, love.
Thank you, Ernest. How was work?
It was fine.
Great.
Mira, I have another question.
Please, ask away.
So, you have no husband, no close family, right?
Correct.
And you're living on your own?
Yes.
And you have no job.
Not currently.
So what is it you do with all your time?
As you said, I like to sit by the water. I find it calming.
I'm just not sure I understand.
Is there something I can clarify?
How does a woman like you with no husband, no family, no job get by
Stop
on her own?
it! That's enough. I am so sorry. I need a moment.
Perhaps I should see myself.
You know, I've heard about women like you. I'm not one to judge how you choose to live your life, but please leave my wife out of it.
Molly is your wife, not your child. She's a grown woman. She's capable of making decisions for herself, far more capable than you seem to credit her for.
I've been talking to a doctor, and he says that her being around you could be causing her to act out.
She's clearly at the end of her rope.
I must put my foot down. I will not allow this friendship to go any further.
As I said, she's a grown woman, not your child.
It is my job to protect her. I'm her husband. I know what's best for her.
I'm not sure that you do.
And you think you do? You've known her one moment. I've known her my whole life.
Ernest, I'm not going to tell you how to go about your marriage, but one thing I will say is that that woman in there, your wife, is drowning. You're trying to keep her away from me? Away from the ocean, away from anything you think might hurt her, but I can tell you it will do you no good. Because even if I walk away, if you go back to your little house in your little town, there will always be a yearning deep inside of her that you will never be able to satiate. The ocean will call her. Faintly at first, growing louder with every passing night, until one day, when she is no longer able to resist its call, she will wander back to the edge of the ocean, and it will drag her under and sweep her out to sea. And there is nothing you can do about it. But me, I can teach her how to swim.
I made some dessert. I'm not sure if you like. Where did Ernest go?
He stepped out, and he ate some air.
sorry, Mira. Ernest is just on edge because I haven't been feeling well. He wants what's best for us. He's wonderful, I promise.
I can see that he loves you deeply.
He does.
What did you make for dessert?
It's bread pudding. I thought it would be a sort of peace offering, but I guess not.
I guess not.
Would you like to try some? I left the raisins out.
I've never had bread puddings. How will I know if I like it?
How will you know unless you try it?
Wise words.
Here. You're welcome.
It's just getting late. I should get home.
Yes. Did you need someone to walk you home? It's quite dark out there.
There's still light from the moon. Should be fine on my own.
But you don't have a jacket. Here. Take this. Keep you warm from those night winds.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I still don't see how this is a happy memory. It seems to have caused some real discomfort with Ernest.
Didn't you see it?
See what?
Right there. I didn't notice it then, or I did, but I didn't know its significance.
What is it?
The way she looked at me that night before she left.
I think that's quite enough for today. You go back to your room. If you need anything, get one of the nurses on their rounds. Thank you. Mr. Evans, it's Dr. Porter from Nova Scotia Hospital. I was calling about your wife's visit. I'm thinking that we need to extend her stay. With your permission, of course.
I'm sorry about dinner tonight, Mom. Something just came over me.
I understand. Mira is a little confusing. Hard to nail down. It makes sense that you would have questions.
Why do you like her so much?
She's my friend.
You just met her.
It's nice to have someone else around.
You were fine at home, just the two of us.
I had plenty of friends back
We
home.
stopped seeing them all after we got married.
A lot was going on. I didn't have time.
I'm worried about you, Mal. Now isn't the right time to be starting friendships, especially if we're still settling.
I know.
Let's just put tonight behind us, okay?
Okay.
I think it's for the best.
Okay.
Oh, have you seen my jacket? I swear I left it on the table in the dining room.
No, I haven't, but I'll keep an eye out for it.
Thanks, Mal. I love you.
Molly,
Hi. It's a wonderful evening out, isn't it?
it's getting late. Won't Ernest be worried you're out here all alone?
No, he's out doing repairs. Said something about a valve or a pane. I wasn't really listening. I came out here to find you.
And what did you wish you had me for?
I wanted to talk about last night, about something has really gotten to Ernest. He won't say as much, but it's rattled him. So I was thinking that maybe we should stop seeing each other, stop being friends. I mean, to keep the peace.
Sir, you came out here to find me.
I know, but it was just to tell you that.
To tell me that you no longer wish to see me.
I'm not in the right place in my life to have friends right now. There is a lot going on. I need to focus on building our home, our family. There's too much to be worried about. Plus, I'd be a terrible friend to have anyways.
A wonderful friend as well.
There's just a lot going on around me and in my life right now. And I'm sure you have pursuits of your own, pursuits that are much more important than this friendship. If that's what you even thought of me anyways. A friend, that is. You know what? I am rambling now. I'm so sorry.
You don't need to apologize. I'm happy to listen.
Thank you. Well, all that is to say I wish you all the best for your future.
Thank you.
Do you ever grow tired of looking at the water?
Is there a reason you're asking me that?
I'm just wondering. Do you ever get tired or bored?
Not once.
But it always looks the same.
It's ever changing. You are full of questions for someone who's no longer my friend.
Yes. You're right. I'm just curious as a non-friend, a stranger.
We are not strangers.
You're right. Never mind. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Do you feel most like myself when I'm here?
Why?
I just do. I feel like me here. I feel at home here.
What is that like? Feeling like that? Feeling at home?
Do you not feel at home here?
Not yet.
Did you feel at home before?
Maybe? I'm not so sure I know what home feels like.
If you felt it, you would know. Trust me, it is not a feeling you have to guess at. Sometimes it's hard to feel like myself. I'm always changing. We all are. There are parts of me that are fluid, but there's such a beauty in that. The constancy of changes. I grow excited. The promise of something different. Something new, and I never know when the next storm will roll out, but they do come. They're powerful. They come with the promise that I will always be expanding. The promise that I will take up as much space as I need to. I will stretch across horizons simply because that is who I am.
That sounds terrifying. To be forever changing like that? Once you know who you are, shouldn't that be it?
That is being alive. It's changing and growing and expanding. Now I can see it in you. Boiling undertone inside of you, threatening to pull you out to sea. Perhaps you should let it.
And why would I do that?
You just never know what'll happen.
But what if it consumes me?
You know how to swim, right?
Yes.
Then trust that you can keep yourself afloat.
You give great advice for someone who isn't my friend anymore. Thank you.
There is no need to thank me. You are going to be okay. Promise.
bathroom is at the back.
But I'm like, right.
Oh yeah?
If I go down to this and I get the more, you can watch.
Oh. Oh, I.
No support.
For our session today, I wanted to dive into some more serious topics. I hope that you will remain open-minded for me.
I'll try.
How is your relationship with your husband?
It's good. We talked about this a few days ago. I'm sure you can find it in your notes.
I mean your physical relationship.
Oh,
You don't have any children. Have you been trying?
expectation was that we would have kids eventually, but we haven't been trying for it yet. We've only been married 3 years. I don't think there's any rush. Plus, the move put a lot of strain on the both of us. It wasn't quite time to be thinking about kids.
But you have been intimate with each other.
I don't think this is appropriate.
I'm your doctor, Molly.
My psychiatrist?
I'm just trying to get a better sense of your life before your visit here. This is helping me paint that picture.
Our physical relationship is fine.
Just fine.
Just fine. He was very affectionate. A kiss on the way out the door and a kiss on the way in. It was also new to me. Ernest was the only boyfriend I'd ever had. We dated in high school. I wanted to wait until marriage to do anything. And then by the time we got married, it was all such a whirlwind.
Let's head to bed, sweetheart.
It was always a sensitive topic in my family. No one ever talked about it. Sex.
Let's just give it a try tonight, please.
Ernest was understanding.
So you say.
Tomorrow night, I've still got another headache.
Don't stay up too late.
I won't. As I said, very understanding.
But you did have intercourse with your husband.
Ma, I don't want to rush you, but I just have to ask. Do you still want children?
Yes. Just give me some time. Can we please change the subject?
We'll circle back to it.
Take all the time you need, darling.
Why does this matter?
It matters because it helps me understand you better.
We're practically strangers.
Practically strangers. I'd like to think we know each other a little bit better than that.
You don't know anything about me.
That's not quite true.
You know what's on the surface.
Okay. Well, then tell me something that will help me understand you better.
I need to head inland for a bit. Gotta grab a part for that generator.
When will you be back?
Hopefully tonight, but at the latest in the morning.
The morning?
Don't worry, Mom.
What if something happens when you're gone?
The weather looks fine. Everything's in working order. You are safe. I wouldn't leave if I didn't trust that you'd be okay.
Okay.
I love you.
I'll see you tomorrow. Hello? Mira?
I thought it'd be the rain. Guess not.
What are you doing here?
I wanted to see you. Is that alright?
I'm not so sure. We discussed not being friends.
You discussed it. But I can respect your wishes. Let me go. Figured I'd try.
Wait. Do we have to be friends for you to come inside?
It's up to you.
Come in. You're gonna catch a chill out there. Ernest is gone, so it'll be nice to have some company.
Happy I could help.
Why are you here, Mira?
I brought you something.
I don't.
Hold out your hand. Found it on the beach earlier.
What is it? It just looks like a piece of broken glass.
Well, it is.
Oh. Why are you giving it to me?
Sea glass. Romance. A bottle that's been washed by the sea so many times it turned into this. Sea glass. Reminded me of you.
This piece of broken glass reminded you of me?
Yes. If you think about the journey that this piece of broken glass took to get into your hand, let's assume that once it belonged to a bottle. The bottle was fired and shaped to be exactly what it was supposed to be. To serve a purpose. That's what bottles do. They serve a purpose. Right?
Right?
Then, in what I can only describe as a twist of fate, the bottle met the sea. This bottle was washed over thousands of times by the waves of the ocean, touched and moved by the currents, its edges worn and broken until it became forever changed. You could not turn that back into a bottle even if you tried. It is profoundly altered. It is no less beautiful. In fact, I think I prefer it this way.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Maybe the break is where the magic happens.
That was beautiful. Thank you for giving this to me. I appreciate the gesture.
You're welcome.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
What did you wish to know?
Anything? Everything? I feel as though you can see inside of me. As if you know things that I'm still discovering about myself. You make me feel vulnerable, but you're such a mystery.
I spend most of my days alone. I do enjoy the company of other people, but I'm particular about who I spend my days with. I've been told I can be intense, hard to read. I consider myself more honest than most. Some have called me witty, some passionate, others are scared of me simply because I am me. You know, I once thought there was something wrong with me. That I should subdue my voice or my feelings for the sake of everyone else. the ease of it all to become more palatable. To change who I am for the comfort of others. That was until I realized there was nothing wrong with me in the first place.
And when did you realize that?
Many years ago. And still learn, and grow, and change. Maybe even being alive, remember?
And how did this all make you feel?
She made me feel seen. I had spent so long trying to contort myself into this version that I thought was right. She saw past that, past the pretend, past the contortion. And here she was, too, standing in front of me, strong and passionate and independent. It felt like coming home.
But what was it that you liked about her? She seems very
Mysterious.
headstrong.
She reminded me of my father.
As you mentioned.
She was so bold, spoke so freely. I had never met a woman in my life like her before. I didn't think that any of this was possible.
Huh. A bold woman.
Did I scare you away?
No, I just... You make me think.
Good.
Is it?
Well, are you okay?
How are you feeling, Molly?
I'm fine.
There is no need to lie.
You can trust me.
I'm not lying. I'm scared.
Being scared means that you are trying something new.
What if I don't like being scared?
And that's okay. But I highly recommend it. You were taught to swim as a child, right?
Yes. By my father.
How did he teach you again? Was it slow at first? Did he hold you up and teach you how to float, or was it sudden? Did he throw you into the deep end when you struggled just enough to figure it out on your own? It can be scary at first. Is this okay?
Mira. Oh God. Oh God, no. This is bad. This is very bad. What if Ernest finds out? What if he doesn't? I can't lie to him. This'll break his heart, and he'll kick me out, and I'll be all alone. This is wrong.
Okay,
This is
Molly,
so
Molly, take a breath.
very wrong.
Take a breath.
I think it might be better if you go.
Is that what you want?
I do want.
Or you could let me help you.
You can't help me.
Let me try.
I think that we can forget anything happened. I was just overtaken by emotions, and really, we're just good friends.
Will you trust me?
I can't.
Please. Trust.
Where are we going?
Very soon. Take off your shoes.
This is a bad idea. Ernest said to stay away from the water, and it looks like there's a storm coming.
The storm has passed. Take a deep breath. What do you smell?
Dead fish.
What else?
It's salty. I know that salt isn't a smell, but I can feel it in my nostrils, on my lips, and the back of my throat stinging a little bit.
What do you feel?
The water is cold. Your hands are warm. It's nice. jacket. I'm getting goosebumps. What do you hear? The waves. The wind. Your heartbeat and your breath next to my ear.
How do you feel now?
Better.
Good.
How are you so
So what?
so entirely sure of every part of yourself?
Can't really be anyone else but me.
I feel as though I'm stranded on an island, away out in all sides, but there's no boat.
So why don't you swim?
Have I forgotten how?
I think that you know how, Molly.
There's something wrong with me. I've got everything a girl could dream of. A kind husband, a wonderful home by the water. The only thing that isn't perfect is me.
Why do you feel the need to be perfect all the time when it is so much more interesting just to be yourself?
I don't know if I believe that.
Well, I do.
So, you had an intimate relationship with Miss Mira.
We went for a swim.
I think I'm starting to understand the depths of your husband's concern.
Molly,
Ernest, you're back.
I think it might be time for you to leave.
I'll only go if she asks me to.
Mira, please.
You're sure?
Please.
How long has this been going on?
Nothing happened.
Please don't lie to me, Molly.
I'm not lying. You were gone, and I was scared and alone. Mira was helping me.
Helping you by what? Taking you out into the middle of the ocean?
She didn't drag me anywhere. I went there on my own.
Molly, I am worried about you.
I'm fine.
Mira is a bad influence.
She's my friend.
I think that we should go home.
Okay. We'll go inside and we'll talk about all of this.
No, I mean home. Back to our families, our real home.
The lighthouse is our
A
home.
couple of months ago, you hated it here.
I know, but I told you I needed time to get settled, and I am settled now.
I wouldn't call this settled.
Who are you to tell whether I am settled or not?
I'm your husband, Molly. In case you forgot. Why are you letting this woman get in the middle of our marriage like this?
She's my friend.
She's dangerous. I asked you not to go into the water, and you didn't listen to me. I told you to stay away from the ocean, and God, you disobeyed me. This behavior only started when she came into our lives.
Please, Ernest, let's just take a breath and we can talk about all of this.
This isn't like you, Mal.
What if this is exactly who I am?
It isn't. I know who I married.
How can you, when I barely know her? Ernest, are you happy here?
Yes,
Do I make you happy?
of course you do.
You're happy here, doing what you love, with the idea of the perfect wife, and the perfect home, and the perfect family. But what if that's not me?
You are my family. You're my home.
And it's driving me crazy to try and be perfect for you, to try and live up to those expectations.
You don't have to live up to any expectations. Molly, you are scaring me.
You deserve so much better than me.
I want you. I love you.
What if loving me means letting me go?
Letting you go. I want to take care of you because I love you. I want to protect you because I love you.
The only thing you're protecting me from is from myself. From the parts of me that you don't see fit. And it's not all my fault. all your fault. I've been hiding them so well that now they seem like the enemy. Tucking them away, trying to hide them. It's pulling me under. I've got cinder blocks tied to my ankles, and I am sinking. I am drowning on dry land right in front of you. You are the rip current you warned me about.
Let's just go back inside. You can lie down, and I will get you some water. It's like you've been saying, the sea air is just getting to your head. No, please, Molly, you are clearly not feeling well. Let me help you. Let me take care of you.
I've seen this in several women in my care before. This desire to throw their lives away on a whim. I think it's love, this strange attachment to another woman, but you're a good girl. You're just easily influenced.
I've been talking to this doctor over the phone, and I went to go see him today.
You saw a doctor?
He says that an unusual attachment between you and Mira could be what's causing you to act out, and they have a spot for you at the hospital in Dartmouth.
No.
We can pack and go tonight if that's what you need.
No.
Molly, this friendship, none of it is good for you. Mira, this weird fascination with the sea.
We went for a swim.
I am worried about you and this doctor. He can help you.
Let me help you.
I've been working too hard and I've missed all the signs.
Having a strong male influence in your life could be beneficial. Since Ernest hasn't been there for you lately, I seem to be the only strong male influence in your life. That of any.
Do I not love you enough? Please, I need you to stop.
Molly, I think we should be discussing the death of your father further.
He has nothing to do with this.
You feel so distant, I don't know how to help you.
I think we should make some amendments to your treatment plan.
Molly, please let me in.
Let me in.
Stop! Please. Just leave me alone. Give me a moment.
I think that's enough for the day. Admitting you have a problem is a big step. You should be very proud of yourself.
I'm sorry.
Molly? I was fine before you showed up.
Were you?
I had it all under control. But you and your talks of the sea and your soft touches, you made me do this.
What exactly is this, Molly?
You made me act out.
I didn't make you do anything.
Please, just leave me alone.
Be angry. Molly, okay, yell. Throw yourself into the sea, but don't act like you didn't want this. I never forced you to take my hand. All I did was offer it.
It was so much easier to pretend.
Was it?
I'm so scared.
I know.
Can't you tell me what to do, Mira? Tell me how to fix this.
I can't fix it. Any of it. I wish that I could, but I can't. All I can do is hold you through it if you will allow me to do that. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. What do you smell? What do you hear? Now, what do you feel?
I love you.
Molly, you barely know me.
I know you very well.
You know parts of me.
I know you, and I love you.
Okay, Molly, this isn't love, at least not yet.
I thought that you felt the same way.
I care about you deeply.
And isn't that what love is? Caring for someone and wanting to hold on to that feeling?
Love is more than just a feeling, right? It is about knowing somebody inside and out, knowing their intricacies and all of their flaws and still choosing to love them despite all of that.
What I feel is real.
What you feel is like a reflection on the surface of the water, and it is still captivating and still beautiful, but it has to be more than a reflection before we can call this love.
You don't love me.
It is the greatest honor that I get the chance to fall in love with you. That you've entrusted your heart to me. And that time has brought us together so that we can uncover parts of ourselves slowly, deliberately, and with care. Isn't that the most thrilling thing?
I don't know anymore.
I'm here because I want to be with you. Being with me involves knowing me. I can't be an escape plan, Molly. I want you to kiss me because you want to kiss me, not because you are still trying to decide if you like the taste of my lips more than Ernest.
This is unbelievable.
Okay, let's just take a breath.
Perhaps it's better if you leave.
Molly, don't.
I think you're right. I'm searching for something in you that I should be looking for with my husband. You've pulled me away from what should be my main focus, my marriage. You've corrupted me with your lies and your talks of the sea. I was fine before you came along, and now look at me. It's all a mess. I
You're
am
not
a mess.
here, Molly. Just let-
No! All you have done since we have met is stir up a storm I never asked to stand in the eye of. I am sick of it. Of having to lie to Ernest. Of having to feel like there's something wrong with me when clearly the only thing that is wrong is you.
Well, if that's how you feel, then I should be on my way. I wish you all the best in the future.
Molly? You're gonna freeze to death out here. Jesus. Go ahead. I'll go get you a cup of tea. I'll be right back.
Ernest, I'm really sorry about yelling at you and for scaring you. I think we can sort this out on our own. There's no need to call the
Hello, Mrs. Evans. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hello?
I'm sorry, how rude of me. I'm Dr. Richard Porter, psychiatrist at Nova Scotia Hospital.
I'm sorry, doctor. I'm afraid that my husband has exaggerated my condition. I'm sorry for making you come out all this way.
Well, I beg to differ. He said that he found you outside and all alone. In this weather, you could have frozen to death.
I was safe.
Mrs. Evans, do you know why Ernest called me?
I'm worried about her.
And I'm in a position to ease that worry.
Shouldn't I be a part of this decision?
Molly, please.
The hospital's only a couple of hours away. We can discuss your treatment on the way there.
Listen to the doctor.
I
sweetheart.
want to stay.
Listen, man.
What's the alternative if I want to stay?
We really don't need to get into that. If you just come with me, we don't need to talk about any alternatives.
I'm not
Just
sure.
trust me.
This will be good for you. You'll see.
Don't.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
We'll only be gone for a couple of days. A week at most.
A couple of days, a week at most. It's been 10 days.
Your case is more complex than initially anticipated.
I want to go home.
Once I've seen significant improvement, then you'll be free to go.
go home.
And where exactly is home, Molly? To the lighthouse? To Alberta? To Mira?
The lighthouse is my home.
Do you really expect me to believe that you'll behave back in that place?
Yes.
You've shown me that you have no remorse for your actions.
Why should I be remorseful?
You had an affair with your husband, and with a woman no less. I think there's a lot to be sorry about, don't you?
I am sorry I hurt Ernest.
And what about the rest? See? How do I know that once I release you won't run right back to Mira?
You'll just have to trust me.
We both know I can't do that.
I should head back to my room now.
No.
Pardon?
No. I can't let you go. I've been far too lenient in my approach. You are not in any position to be making requests anymore, Mrs. Evans.
Doctor.
Ernest has been nothing but forgiving. The perfect husband. I've met women who would throw their lives away and exchange it with yours. It appears you've been spoiled. You've had it too good for too long. It's no surprise that your mind would wander, but curiosity doesn't just kill the cat, Molly. You had it all, and you somehow let this woman seep in and influence you while you were vulnerable and alone.
This has nothing to do with Mira.
Now, if you were my wife,
Doctor.
I would have never let this happen. But here you are, caught up in your delusions. It's a clear sign of your instability.
This doesn't feel helpful.
If you were my wife, I would have never let you get away. But now you're lost, led astray. You need to be set on the right path.
I came here for your help, not this.
My help. You need much more than help. A strong hand to guide you. Correction, that's what you need. I've let you tell me your little story, let you indulge your little behaviors, heard some truly disturbing details. But now it's time for me to take control.
Please, just let me go home. I swear.
I'm just doing what's necessary. If you were to be released right now, you'd only continue down this destructive path. I need to correct you, your deviant behavior. Just let me help you, Molly. I know how to help you.
Get your hands off of me!
We need to escalate your level of care, something to address the severity of your condition. You will remain in here until I can be certain that you've truly changed.
What if I refuse?
I don't see your name on the door, Mrs. Evans.
Please.
You will go back to your room now.
But...
Don't make me call the nurses.
Hello?
Mr. Evans,
Yes?
it's Dr. Porter from the hospital.
Oh, hello, doctor. How's Molly doing?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I am starting to believe that your wife's condition is more complex than initially anticipated, and it is my professional opinion that she be admitted for an extended stay.
You've already extended her stay once. How much longer would you need to keep her?
I can't say. If she cooperates, then perhaps just a few months, but based on her recent behavior, I think the longer the better. It's all dependent on how she reacts to treatment.
And what sort of treatment would that be?
Well, there are a number of avenues that we could approach. Electroshock therapy, hormone therapy, aversion treatment.
Electroshock therapy.
Well, it's a lot scarier than it sounds.
Don't you think we might be overreacting here, doctor?
If you heard what Molly was saying in our sessions about Mira, about you and your relationship, then I think that you would listen to me on this. I need you to trust me on this.
I know that you think that you have to be tough on her, but God, if you push her too hard, she will just shut down. She's stubborn and hard-headed and driven, sure, but she's not unreasonable. I think that if you just talk to her plainly, she'll start to see the right path.
Okay then. What sort of treatment do you propose, Ernest?
Isn't that your job to figure out, to find what works best for your patients?
Exactly. This is my job, to treat my patients. I'm the only one on this call with a doctorate. You are a lighthouse clerk with a homosexual wife. And I really don't think that you're in any position.
Don't talk about me or my wife like that.
Can I speak frankly with you, Ernest?
Haven't you already?
I get that you care about your wife, but if we don't do the right thing now, then you're just setting her up for more failure. I need you to give me the go-ahead for this treatment.
And if I don't?
Then I don't think I can continue treating your wife.
I want Molly to see another doctor. I want a second opinion.
I wish I could be more of assistance to you, Ernest, but all of our psychiatrists are busy with their own patients. We're quite understaffed at the moment.
Then I want to come get her.
Ernest, I really do not think you're listening to me.
No, I don't think you are listening. I am coming to get my wife.
You've shown great progress in the last couple weeks, Mrs. Evans.
I have.
Yes. And for your cooperation, I have a surprise for you.
Molly,
Ernest,
how are you?
I missed you.
I missed you so much. The house felt so empty without you.
I'm sorry, Ernest.
No, I'm sorry. You were in so much pain and God, there was nothing I could do to help you.
It's okay. You did what you thought was right. Calling Dr. Porter was for the best.
But,
It's all in the past. Let's just forget it even happened.
of course, I put my resignation in.
Ernest, no.
I'm gonna take you home, Molly.
Home.
Yes, we're going home. I've already packed up most of our stuff and sent it back to my parents. We can stay in their basement until we're back on our feet. I know you told me not to, but I really think it's what we need to do.
You're right.
We can go back home, see our families, and get settled again. It'll be good for us, for our marriage. And then we can focus on building our family. Dr. Porter agrees that it will be good for you to have a fresh start.
This was Dr. Porter's decision.
It was a joint decision.
You've been talking.
Just over the past week, Ernest has been very adamant about your release. How can I deny him the pleasure of your company?
Please take me home.
Anything for you.
Can I have a moment before you go, Mr. Evans?
Sure. Why don't you go ahead? I'll be out in a second.
You should be very careful. Molly is very delicate right now. Taking her out of here too soon may be detrimental to her treatment.
I know what's right for my wife, for my family.
Of course, and I'm not saying you don't. I just want the best for her.
Me too.
If things get bad again, I can recommend some treatment centers out west. That might be appropriate.
Thank you.
We've made some great progress, Mrs. Evans. Let's try not to let it go to waste.
Once again, thank you, Dr. Porter. I'll be sure to give you a call if we need anything else.
Thank you, Doctor.
What have you got there?
Just some shells I found on the beach.
I didn't know you brought any of those back. Can I take a look?
They're not very interesting. How was work?
Fine. Still getting settled, but I think it'll be a good fit. How was your day, darling?
Good.
I saw you got a couple of those boxes in the garage emptied.
A few. There's still plenty to unpack.
There's no rush.
I guess not.
I'm gonna go take a shower. Molly? Are you taking a shower? Molly, what's wrong?
I'm fine. Something must have just come over me. I promise. I'm okay.
Doesn't seem that way. You know, Mol, we've been back 2 months and you are still all out of sorts.
I told you I'm just gonna need more time to settle again.
You know, I know that this year has been hard, but I can't help you get through any of it if you don't talk to me.
Aren't we talking?
Not like this.
Then how would you like to talk to me, Ernest? Shall I be your little patient? Shall I be a doctor? You'll sit right there, and I'll sit right here. You'll take out a pen and a paper, and you'll ask me how I'm doing. We'll talk about the weather, and my family, and our marriage. But that won't be enough. I'll open up to you about my fears, and I'll tell you stories of the sea. I'll be vulnerable. I'll be scared, but hopeful that you can help me. And you will whisper in my ear all the ways in which you wish to fix me. Do you want to hear them?
Molly?
And when I fight back, you will call me a monster, a deviant, a slut. You will tell me that I am nothing more than a body, a vessel to please my husband and bear his children. And you want to know what the worst part of it all is?
Molly.
I will start to believe you.
Well,
Don't.
this isn't what I wanted.
You sent me to that place. You did this. I'd be cruel.
No, you're right. I should have never have sent you to that place. If I knew that that's how you were being treated, I mean,
But you didn't know. And now we are here in the aftermath of it all, and there's nothing you or I can do about it.
we can't change what's happened, but maybe we can try for a better future.
What do you mean?
Go back to the lighthouse, to that place.
That's the opposite of a solution. Plus, they'd never take you back at that posting anyways. Your replacement is already moved in.
They didn't mean me, not us. You, Mom.
Me? Why would I go there without you?
To figure out what it is you want or who you are. To find your happiness. Follow the call.
Follow the call? Ernest, you're being silly.
She said this all to me, but I couldn't see it. Not then. But I know now what I need, what you need.
What we need is to get through this together.
What if that's not possible? Do you love her?
Ernest, no. I'm not sure.
You should go find out.
I had the change of heart.
You told me once that if I loved you, I would let you go. That's what I'm doing, Mom. I'm letting you go.
What will you do?
I don't know. Find my own happiness, I guess. For a while, I thought it was you. Seemed like it might be, but things changed.
I'm so sorry, Ernest.
No, don't be. I'm sorry.
I feel like I've let you down.
The only person you're letting down is yourself if you don't come.
You're too good to me.
I know. I love you, Mom.
I love too, Ernest. I probably look crazy out here, standing by the water without a jacket in this weather. Maybe this is a bad idea. The rocks are sharper than I remember. It's freezing. If Ernest was here, he'd tell me to get away from the edge of the water. Tell me to go back inside. But it's not my house anymore, so I guess I am stuck out here. I thought you'd be here. I made a big show of this all. Thought I would come here, and you would be by the water like you always were. Skipping stones, or spouting something poetic to the waves.
It's a long process to get here. I say long, but I started writing it in March, so not long at all actually. But me and Mars saw a show here called Tender Engine. It was Megan Arnold, yes, thesis, right? And it was about when I explain it, it isn't related at all. But it was about a train and the man who owned this train, but Megan played the train as a human being, and it was very queer. But in my brain I was like, oh my gosh, what if
at first it was a lighthouse. What if the embodiment of a lighthouse? Or what if the ocean was a person and falling in love with that, and then we got here somehow? There is a through line. But yeah, that is the inspiration. And it's gone through so many different versions of the show. Surprisingly, I wrote it in 6 months, and this is just the first version. Well, the 5th version, but the first staged version of it. Yeah, and I think it'll continue to grow, to evolve.
Just out of curiosity then, building off of what you just said, do you have any future aspirations for when you want to stage this that you're already thinking of next?
That's a good question. I do. Big dreams. The idealized version is not in silence as much as I love silence and I love this space. I'd love to try it at a bigger venue. My idealized version includes like silks hanging from the ceiling. That's in there somewhere. I'd love to play with different, in a bigger space, different parts of a set and like moving through them. I think it would be great in black box. Yeah. I mean, I said this last night when I was talking about it. This is my first play that I've ever put on. And it kind of feels like my baby. I feel very connected to it, and I think that it will continue to grow, and it'll continue to. I'm gonna keep working on it, and as I sit here in the audience listening to it, I'm already changing things in my brain. There are tons of things that are going to be different. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think I will ever put it to bed. Yeah. Yes.
Is there a significance with the pearls?
Oh.
That Molly and Myra are the only ones wearing pearls? Is that...
Well, actually, these pearls belong to Mars, and they have the same clasp, which originally wasn't planned, but I think that it fits well.
But it just seemed like when they first met, they were both wearing pearls, and before we made the connection,
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that they do have a connection before they even meet. I mean, it's kind of as someone who is queer and like meeting new queer people, there's always, I find, like something there. There's always like a similar lived experience. I think with anybody, if you meet someone who has gone through a similar thing as you have, if you meet someone who is from the same place as you, there's always something there, a string that connects you. And I love that you pointed that out, because I definitely think that there is a string that connects Molly and Mira together before they even know it, before they even meet. And I think that that's why Molly is so scared of the sea, because she feels that pull, and it's scary, right? Because it's something different, it's something new, it's something she's never experienced before, and that's very scary, very scary thing. Yeah. Very in-depth answer about pearls. I also just love pearls. I also have my own. Go on, they're different.
I got mine gifted to me before my first play that I ever put on, and then I was at an antique market and I saw the matching one that's a little less like worn, and I was like, oh, I'll wear those for Plunge. And then when you wanted her in a pearl necklace, I was like, I think Mira's is a little more worn with time, and Molly's is a little bit more new too, so that was a fun one.
Any other questions? Caleb.
For the song, I don't know if it's called Love Me Tenderly or not, but was that a hard decision to choose a song? How did you get it so perfect? Did you know about the maritime kind of tone of the song in a way?
Originally it was Love the Young Rose, and then there's so many versions of that song that I couldn't pick. And I'm a big fan of Elvis. My mom's a big fan of Elvis. My mom, by the way. I don't know. There's something very romantic about Elvis, obviously. Clearly. And I love that song. It also feels kind of out of time. Like, it is very time period accurate, and I did a lot of research to make sure that that song came
Mhm.
in the time period before the period of the show, but it also feels timeless. Like if you listen to that song now, it's I think a very big representation of love. I mean, Elvis has Can't Help Falling in Love with This Baby is more popular, but that one came after 1958, so we can't do that one. But I do love Me Tender better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions?
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming. Did you want to say?
Yeah, we said a few words about Kate last night because the show went from being just a fundraiser for Downtown Well Friends to being in memoriam, which was a wild process. I've said so many times throughout the process of losing Kate as one of my really close friends that there are never words in these situations. Like, I never feel less like a writer than when I'm sad because, you know, when somebody great is here, you can just point to them, and then when they're gone, you have to find lovely ways to describe them, and there's this like pressure. But there are no words for a loss that big. But I thought it was really wonderful that we still made it to the stage and got to do this fundraiser. All of you are a part of it, supporting Downtown Well Friends for being here, so thank you so much. Is anyone unfamiliar with that group? Hands up. I know we got a little. Yeah, your Downtown Well Friends is completely volunteer run. People on Reddit love to say we embezzle money. None of us get paid. All of the money goes 100% into what we do, which is food distribution. In 2024, when the Royal City Mission was doing 4-day meal services, we were up to 3, sometimes up to 4. If somebody came to our table and their boots were worn within that night, Kate was searching Facebook Marketplace trying to find them. When the St. George's encampment was cleared and people were displaced, we were down there for hours just trying to take care of people. Very boots on the ground, very grassroots, as genuine as they come, and that sums up Kate pretty nicely. And I just think, I hugged you last night and we said she would have loved this show, and she got to see bits of the script. She'd ask me about it all the time when I saw her. But Kate and I got really stuck on the queerness, but also the aspect of coming home and finding home in a person and finding home in many places. And I was like, she embodied that, and she spread that so nicely around wealth. That again, it's such a loss without her, but a lot of us get to carry the torch and continue doing what she can't anymore. And I think it's a beautiful challenge that we get to rise to, and it's really special. She taught me a lot in a very short time about what community is, and it felt so tender because that's all I've ever wanted to make through art. Like, I think people separate community and work and community and school and it's all woven into each other. It's all the same thing. Everything we do plays towards or against finding community and cultivating community and making it mean something. And I just think, yeah, this has been a process for sure. But yeah, I'm glad we got to honor her memory, and she would have loved.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for coming. That's all I
Yeah, something like that. It's got that kind of feel.
Yeah.
I have an announcement slash a question. Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening. I feel like a teacher. If everybody could remove their things from the chairs, Music Housing is going to start striking. You don't have to go. This venue is just shared, and tomorrow there's a drum group coming in, so we're making space for that. Yeah, don't rush.
Yeah, I know. It's just 2 to 3 hours. A lot of work. Sure.
So sorry about
I was there when the I'm not down here. There was a
that for me was like
Thank you for being on first. I think I'm gonna go. The pictures were
I can just think of